Hi, my name is Wendy and this is the Shan Studios YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about some modifications you can do for common yoga postures you're likely to see in class. The first posture we're going to modify today is downward facing dog. What I tend to see a lot is a lot of weight being bared down onto the wrists and into the shoulders, as well as a lot of rounding through the lower back that prevents a stretch in the hamstrings. And most of these things can be solved just by bending the knees, so I'll demonstrate that now. So what I commonly see is this, a lot of the weight just being carried by the wrists and the shoulders, and the lower back is rounding. When we bend the knees, that takes weight off the wrists, it allows the shoulders to lengthen, and then with the knees bent, you can press the tailbone up to find that stretch in the hamstrings, even if the knees stay bent. If you continue to feel a lot of soreness in the wrist during class and pressing down into the top edge of the palm and the fingers don't help, you can place blocks under the hands to take some weight off of the hands. You'll notice that in this way, more of the weight is being carried by the legs and less is being carried by the hands and the wrists. The next posture we're going to modify is a standing forward fold. So what we see here a lot is the rounding in the lower back, which takes away from the stretch in the hamstrings, as well as the rotation in the pelvis. This can also be solved by bending the knees and widening the stance a little bit. And this is what that looks like. If you insist on keeping the legs really straight and quite close together, you'll notice that most of the stretch might be in the lower back and not that much in the hamstrings, not that much through the rotation at the hips. If you bend the knees, that gives a little more spaciousness into the hips so the tailbone can point up. And then as you lift the hips high, with the knees bent, you'll feel more stretch here in the hamstrings. Sometimes we need a little more space for the torso, and if that's the case, you can widen the stance just so that you can adjust the body a little more into the posture. You can grab onto the backs of the ankles, you can grab onto the elbows, pull the hips up, and relax the body down. And finally, the last posture we're modifying is the seated forward fold. And here what I see a lot is the lower back rounding. So once again, the stretch is not really in the hamstrings and just a lot in the lower back. This can be addressed by placing a cushion under the seat as well as bending the knees. And this is what that looks like. So sometimes if we're just sitting directly onto the mat, if there's tightness here throughout the hips, then you'll notice a kind of rounding in the lower back instead of that stacking, with the lower back a little more neutral and the shoulders directly over the hips. So here, if there's a lot of tightness through this posture, you can take a cushion or you can take a block and place it under the seat. Once we elevate the hips here a little bit, you can press the tailbone back. You'll notice sometimes as you do this, the knees want to bend, and that's okay. From here, you want to keep the chest lifted and shifting forwards. If you cannot grab the feet, you can take a strap, wrap it around the feet and pull, and I'll show you what that looks like. Taking the strap, placing it at the feet, knees bent, tailbone pushing gently back so the lower back feels strong, lifting up to the chest and hinging forward. At the very bottom, once you stop pulling with the strap, you can relax the body downwards and round through the spine. I really hope these tips were helpful for you, and if you have trouble with some of these postures, I hope you try some of these tips out. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you like content like this, please give us a subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!